Hello everyone, it's me, and I haven't posted anything on this channel in a really long time, and it's been an even longer time since I posted something sober. I've been wanting to start doing vlogging, and decided to do just the fairly straightforward ramble about something that happened today approach, at least to start. You'll have to excuse the boxes back here. I'm in the process of moving, but more to the point, I had a very bizarre and worrisome encounter today. So at my school, a little bit of background, there's this preacher called Jorge, is his name, and he shows up about almost every Tuesday to yell that if you smoke weed, drink alcohol, and have sex, especially gay sex, you're going to hell. He does this on a fairly liberal-leaning college campus, and with a pretty solid LGBT community within the student body. So the net result is you get a lot of people who nobody takes him, well, I wouldn't say nobody, but very few people take him seriously. And there's this very common game that the students play where they basically just, like, troll him for a few hours, and then, you know, when they get bored and he's not fun to laugh at anymore, they wander off. It's kind of fun, but also kind of annoying because we can't make him leave the campus because it's a state university, but it's also very aggravating to have somebody, you know, that somebody's allowed to just, you know, yell that we're going to hell. So he was there today, and I saw somebody who I've seen there a lot of times. I just went over to say hi. And then I got drawn into the conversation with this other guy called Andrew, and at first it started out like, so he opened with saying the Crusades were justified, which in retrospect should have tipped me off that this was not going to be a productive conversation, but after some debate he, you know, basically retracted that. I was like, you know, I'm not very good with words, whatever. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. It's okay. Maybe you're not good with words. And part of that was because he was like, oh, I mean, there's been other atrocities committed in the name of Christianity, and he cited knights that I'm not particularly familiar with, and I forget the name of, and, you know, other invasions, and so it was just at the level of, you know, wrong, but tolerably wrong, that I was willing to, like, continue talking to him. And so we talked. We actually ended up talking for like 2 hours. I mean, you know, we were talking about politics. We were, you know, complaining about evangelicals, both for their, you know, for being, you know, not very nice people, and for having theologically unsound, you know, methods of trying to get people to, you know, come to Jesus. You know, he talked about, you know, he contrasted evangelicals with the Russian Orthodox Church, which is where he's from, and, you know, talk about how skeevy it is that evangelicals have these, like, classes and books about, you know, how to project your voice and how to, like, draw a crowd to you when you're street preaching like this. And I was like, yeah, that's really skeevy. And he was like, oh yeah, I totally agree. So overall, it just seemed like somebody you could talk to who has, like, a few problematic opinions, but not so much that I was like, oh, well, no, not going to talk to you at all, not going to, like, not going to engage in any sort of discourse with you. So, like, he was just at that threshold. You know, and, it was an interesting conversation, because he did know a lot about, like, Russian Orthodox stuff that I don't know about. And I do have an interest in, like, you know, broadening my knowledge of you know, different things in general, but especially religion interests me, even though I'm not religious myself. So, you know, although I will have to fact check everything he said before I, like, take it to heart, because then things started getting weird, because we were talking about history and politics and religion, and he kept mentioning how Italy doesn't get talked a lot about in World War II. Because, you know, pretty much because Hitler overshadowed everybody else in World War II. You know, and he would occasionally mention, you know, how he's very interested in Italy's structure and how Italy was politically at the time, and, you know, what Mussolini's goals in particular were. And I didn't think anything of it until about 15 minutes before I ended the conversation. You know, he's asking me, like, you know, what do you think of the alt-right and the alt-left? And I was like, well, the alt-right is Nazis and or people who aren't trying to stop Nazis, which is just as bad as a Nazi. And he was like, no, they're not Nazis. And then he was, like, trying to explain about how, like, there's a continuum of people on the alt-right. You've got your Nazis and you've got your, I don't know what else is on that continuum, but, you know, you've got your, like, nice people, according to Andrew. And just, like, then he starts, you know, talking about how, oh, well, you know, in Italy, they didn't, like, believe in a master race, and they had, like, this, like, you know, Mussolini didn't agree with, you know, the Holocaust, so it wasn't as bad as Hitler, you know, which is, by the way, like, an extremely low bar to set for somebody, you know, didn't commit genocide, I guess. And just, you know, kept talking about how, you know, Mussolini was more focused on, you know, fixing the corruption and infrastructure of Italy, and, you know, even when he invaded places, you know, he was all about just rebuilding their infrastructure. He made the trains run on time, and, you know, and he was like, you know, you can go to the Holocaust Museum and see where, you know, the Jewish people thanked Italians because Italian officers hid Jewish people from Nazis. And I will say that I don't really I don't 100% know if that's true or not, because, like I said, I'm taking everything he said with a grain of salt. And it was just like, and he's like, so that's why, you know, we don't like to use the word fascist. These people have a lot of negative connotations associated with that. And, you know, I prefer to call myself, you know, corporatist or third way. And I was like, oh. And it, like, dawned on me what had been going on the whole time. Because the first step to, like, to alt-right / Nazi / fascist recruitment, and I've read articles on this, is conversations like this, where basically you present, we're not fascists, we're nice, reasonable people who you can debate with for hours, because liberals love to debate, and I just stumbled right into that one. And B, fascism isn't so bad. Mussolini made the trains run on time, I guess. And I just, like, realized what was going on and just boggled my mind. And so I was like, I have to leave immediately. Because there wasn't really anything else to do at that point. And then I was like, it occurred, like, it was kind of genius, a lot of things that he did, because nobody takes Jorge seriously. And, you know, he said, you know, very very many times in the 2 hours here that he disagrees with Jorge. And, you know, use that as, like, you know, a common thing for us to talk about. And so it's like, well, is Jorge in on this? Or is Andrew just, like, opportunistic? And it's just wigging me out. And nobody says wigging anymore, but I just did. And, yeah, and it's just, like, a really, like, insidious approach. Because in retrospect, like, you know, all of his, like, sneaky backpedaling is, like, really obvious now to, like, you know, 11 o'clock p.m. me. It was not obvious to 3 p.m. me 8 hours ago. Well, so it's just, like, and if I hadn't read articles about, you know, the process of, like, getting people to agree to fascism, then, like, I wouldn't realize that that's what he was, like, trying to do. Like, I wouldn't realize he was trying to get the foot in the door for fascism, you know, with me. I would have picked on the fact that, you know, as soon as you start, you know, saying, oh, Mussolini wasn't that bad, you're probably not somebody I need to listen to. But, like, it was really sneaky and annoying and, you know, troublesome because, you know, I didn't fall for this sort of thing. I know what he was trying to do. But, like, other people, like, I could see, like, I don't make friends very often with, like, strangers. And I'm not a very outgoing person. So if he can get me to, like, you know, engage with him in conversation, and, like, I almost exchanged Facebooks with him so that I could, like, engage with him in conversation later on in the future. But I didn't, because, no. And it was just like, so other people could fall for this. And that's what's worrisome to me. And, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, because I don't really have a point besides what the fuck. And, yeah, so I might in the future bring back comics and cocktails. I might post more vlogs. I might disappear from YouTube for many months again. I don't know. I have 6 boxes of comic books I need to read. But yeah. Bye.